Good evening. Welcome to the July 7th meeting of East Point City Council. Madam City Clerk, can we get a roll call, please?
Councilmember Shropshire. Present. Councilmember Freely. Here. Councilmember Atkins. Councilmember Ziegler. Present. Councilmember Cummins. Mayor Pro Tem Mitchell. Councilmember Butler will not be in attendance due to his son being in the hospital. Councilmember Martin Rogers.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Mitchell, we have a quorum.
Do we have anyone tonight here to do the invocation? Pastor Mobley, if you would. And could we please have everyone stand for the invocation and pledge to the flag?
Good evening, let us pray. We are thankful that you've given us light just one more time. And it's an opportunity to share the breath with others. Now we pray for this council, this mayor, and all the city employees who make this city better for we, the citizens, and those who visit. Bless their efforts as they work to decide what's best for us. In your name, Almighty God, amen.
All right. Tonight, our Sergeant at Arms is Captain Robinson. Thank you for your service. Next, can I get a motion for the adoption of the City Council agenda?
Second.
The motion has been seconded. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. The motion passes. Next, we have approval of the City Council meeting minutes from the regular meeting on June 16th. Is there a motion?
Second.
The motion has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. The motion passes. I don't see any public hearings. Next, we have, can we get a motion to open the floor for public comments?
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? The motion passes. Thank you. So, per Chapter 2, Section 2-2002, Rule 28, the public may speak during the public comment section of the agenda. Speakers must complete a comment form prior to the start of the meeting. Subjects may include any subject of choice. There will be a 3-minute time limit for each speaker. Speakers that have signed up to speak may give all or part of their time up to 3 minutes to another speaker for a total of 6 minutes of speaking. Speakers may address the council only once during this time of the agenda. Speaker must identify themselves and their address prior to speaking. Questions from the speaker may not be addressed during the public speaking section of the agenda. East Point residents will have priority over other speakers. There will be a total of no more than 60 minutes for the public speaking section of the agenda. Speakers may only address the presiding officer. Speakers shall observe any rule of decorum, all rules of decorum. No debate, disrespect, or obscenity shall be tolerated. The presiding officer shall rule any such individual out of order if they fail to do so. Madam City Clerk, do we have anyone speaking tonight?
Yes, we have 4 speakers this evening. Up first, we have Ms. Kayvon Arnold, and she had time given to her by Mr. Smith, Frankie Smith, so she'll have 6 minutes.
Good evening. My name is Latoya Kayvon Arnold. I am a resident at 2465 Main Street here in East Point, Georgia, 30344. I'm here tonight as a deeply rooted and engaged resident. I was saddened and disappointed by what transpired during last Monday's budget meeting. After more than 40 plus meetings dedicated to shaping the upcoming year's budget, It was frustrating to watch the process be delayed roughly for about $8,000. That disruption undermines the hard work already done and gives the impression that personal agendas are being placed above the needs of our city. Even more concerning was the tone and conduct throughout the entire meeting. The infighting, the personal jabs, and the overall lack of unity among each of you council members was disheartening. The city of East Point deserves leadership that can disagree without being disagreeable, leadership that models professionalism and not cattiness and pettiness. I was especially disappointed by the meeting because instead of the chair facilitating the meeting with fairness and neutrality, the chairperson brought bias into the discussion, particularly regarding events. I found it troubling to hear the chairperson allude to a specific event possibly contributing to disturbances or inappropriate behaviors. Is traffic a problem during some of the events? Absolutely. But there's never been anything violent taking place at any of our major events. So I felt that that was a little bit it was pushing the envelope. As someone who has attended many of the city's events for years, whether walking from home, driving, I never experienced anything unsafe or disruptive. To the contrary, on large events, they are free. They draw diverse crowds. They assist with bringing our community together. We enjoy education, we enjoy music, we enjoy the culture, and we enjoy the connection. So, if there are concerns about specific events or programming, I strongly suggest that as adults, you guys have conversations behind the scenes before it come out to us. When a council member is hearing about something for the first time in a public setting or a meeting is held before the meeting, that feels like it's more of a collaboration and colluding, and it's going to cause public humiliation. These moments should be about working together, not grandstanding at each other's expenses. I was taken aback by another member of council who gave a real unprofessional reaction to unverified hearsay and witnessing this council person chastising the residents that attended the meeting for their natural responses to what was said. It's not the kind of behavior that fosters public trust. It creates distance and discouragement. Lastly, I want to express my next concern with a council member who suggested that we combine an employee appreciation function with the Silver Fox Senior Ball. My father, who is also a resident of East Point, a sensational singer who's been residing in East Point for over 40 years, he, along with all his senior friends, love the Senior Ball. It's a moment for them to celebrate, not share it or overshadow. Plus, I'm pretty sure that the employees of the city of East Point will also prefer to be honored in a way that is just for them. Both groups deserve to be appreciated independently and intentionally. East Point is a city full of pride, legacy, and promise. I hope this council will move forward with greater unity, respect for each other, purpose, put your egos aside, put the people first, and make East Point great. Thank you.
Up next, we have Ms. Sharon Lovett.
Good evening. City Council Sharon Lovett, 2830 DeLoe Drive. My question is, why does it take so long, as she stated prior to me, that you all have to go over the budget 40 times before it can be approved? That's the first thing. You can answer it when you all respond. And this city council has to do better and work better together. I don't know why or what the problem is. We can't see it out here, some of them. And why are we looking like South Fulton County City Council, DeKalb City Council, and Clayton County City Council? Why you all can't work together and compromise? Nobody's gonna always have it their way, but you all need to get together and compromise on that. But the last meeting I was really ashamed to be here at the special meeting last week, and everybody didn't show up, but I'm glad you all approved it, so now we can move forward and try to work together. Today, I want to thank the men of intelligence for cleaning out my privacy fence that I can no longer do. It was very hot out there, and one guy came and he cleaned it out for me. And I want to thank him, And I do know that that's part of the budget, at least that's what I was told, that it is part of the budget. And so I want to thank him again, and I'm glad that this is in the budget. Thank you.
Lastly, we have Mr. Thomas Wardlow.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, members of the City Council. I'm Tom Wardlow. I reside at 1301 Mercer Avenue in Egan Park, Ward B, in this beautiful city of East Point, Georgia. I have 3 things I want to present this evening. For all of them, there is a phrase I enjoy, and I would like you to just hold it somewhere. Think globally, act locally. On that line, I want to say that I do appreciate that we have a public meeting of this local governing body where I can say what I want to say, you will listen. Yeah, you will listen, and that's a wonderful thing. This is democracy in action. If you don't know it, it is, and thank you. Second item, at the Egan Park Neighborhood Association, the last meeting, we had a rather active discussion of the playground equipment, or rather the removal of the playground equipment at Egan Park, and the gist of what I took away was, why did the city determine that they would destroy this stuff instead of donate it to some worthy not-for-profit such as Goodwill, which has the capability to do any sort of reclamation or renovation that would bring that equipment into compliance with current code and regulation. Boggles our mind that the option was to destroy that equipment, which we as citizens paid a lot for, to replace it with some new, but that's in the past, water under the bridge. But for the other parks where the city is determined to upgrade or improve, please consider donating those things to a not-for-profit. I'm sure that's within the capability of the city. I don't have the city attorney to verify, but I would like to see that. And third, I would like for the city council to request the police department to enforce fire lane parking issues. I believe if I go outside right now, I will find at least one car parked in the fire lane, and here I am in a meeting. So what if we have a fire? Oh, well, somebody's car's parked there. Come on. I don't know who parked there, and I don't care, but the city should enforce fire regulations. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all for your comments. Can I get a motion to close public comments? Is there a second? It's been moved and properly seconded. Any discussion?
There's no motion to close public comments.
Okay. Well, moving along. Next, we have presentations. Oh,
I'm sorry, Councilmember, Mayor Pro Tem Mitchell.
I'm sorry.
Up next would be comments from council.
I'm sorry. I missed that one. Comments from council? Are there any comments? Is it any? I don't think that. Okay, moving along.
I'm in.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm in for comments from council.
Councilman Rogers, go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. First, I would like to thank the residents of Ward D for yet another successful community gathering, which was held on last Saturday. So thank you all for coming out. There will also be an L Circle wrap-up meeting which is going to be held on July 22nd at 6:30 p.m., which will provide residents with an update of the project, any upcoming projects, and will also provide staff the opportunity to hear directly from residents that have been impacted by the project. Location updates will also be provided soon. I also want to mention that there's a teacher back to school drive. We are collecting donations just right here at City Hall on tomorrow, starting tomorrow between the hours of 9 a.m. and 5 o'clock p.m. if you would like to donate any school supply items to the Teacher Back to School Supply Drive, which is going to be held on July 26th at 11 o'clock a.m. Please drop off those items and sign the sign-in sheet. If you are looking to volunteer on July 26th, please call the City Clerk's office at 404-270-7090. I also want to take a moment to say that the word divisive was used loosely on last Monday and out of context. What causes division is being a part of a committee and having input on that committee and voting against the residents. What causes division is voting against a community of people that you directly impact and you hear their voices. What causes division is the constant berating of staff, members of council on social media, and when they come before us in meetings. What causes division is placing items on the agenda that could have been sent in an email, but is utilized as an opportunity to have a work session. Having secret meetings, that causes division. And voting against the residents of Ward D time and time again, that also causes division. One person came out about the townhomes in Ward B, and the developer was encouraged to go back before the community to hear what the community wanted. However, in July of last year, residents of Ward D were not given the same opportunity. That causes division. On April 21st, Ward D was voted against again for a warehouse when residents again came before council and talked about the impact to their quality of life. Council was even called disingenuous because there was no rush to address the warehouse issue south of I-285, but council did. They already tackled this issue through a moratorium and changing the ordinances. Through my own research, there is a pre-application for Ward B, asphalt and warehouse and storage, and also in Ward B, a transfer station, a warehouse and storage facility. What is going to be most interesting is the vote. What makes one ward or area of the city better than the other? For me, I will always stand with the residents and prioritize what's best for our residents, whether they can cast a vote for me or not. However, I've observed a troubling pattern. Residents in Ward D are not being listened to, and their voices are repeatedly voted against. If any resident contacts me in the city, whether they can vote for me or not, I extend the courtesy of a meeting and allow them to be heard. However, when residents from Ward D reached out to certain council members, they refused to meet, and one even mentioned manufacturer outrage. How does a property owner and a taxpayer manufacture outrage when it comes to where they live or their property value? If we're going to talk about division, we need to be honest about where it's coming from. The patterns speak for itself, and pointing fingers only distracts from the real sources. At this time, I'd like to make a motion to appoint Orlando McLeod to the Utility Advisory Commission. It's a commission.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Okay, motion passes. Okay, Councilman Atkins?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. Just a few things. Some of the comments from my colleague triggered some thoughts. There's going to be a back-to-school bash that we'll be hosting in conjunction with Bryson Contractors and Impact Church on August 2nd from 12 to 3. So if you've got school-age children in the city of East Point, if you would please bring the children out. We'll make sure that we continue to advertise those things and push them out through social media to make sure we're getting all the details and all the information out for that. I would also like to, Mr. Wardlow spoke about the park situation there. We did have a very robust discussion. I'd reached out to the Director of Parks and Recreation and provided an update to those citizens in Egan Park regarding that park construction and the new installation. I am hoping that, Mr. City Manager, that we would allow the city to go ahead and move forward with re-engaging citizens as it relates to boards, authorities, and commissions. There is a Parks and Recreation Advisory Commission. I got the strong feeling that the citizens were feeling that their voices were not heard in this, and so I think it's a great opportunity for the director or others from Parks and Recreation to engage with citizens across the city to provide that information. The last thing is that I think Ms. Martin had spoken about our decision to move some events from council over to the city manager's office. I'm the council member who made a comment about events as it relates to citywide events like the holiday event and the Silver Fox Ball. I'm glad that Ms. Martin brought that up. I hope that it's not misunderstood. I think Ms. Kayvon Arnold. Sorry, Ms. Arnold. Ms. Arnold, my apologies for that. So the idea is not to have those things combined, but to keep those things separate. But last year, one was held in College Park, one was held in the city of East Point. If they are then produced by the city manager's office, the hope is that we can use those as leverage to get better pricing so that we can use more dollars for city services. So thank you for bringing that up, because my idea was not to combine the events, but in fact to definitely keep those separate. So thank you very much. And that's all I have, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Councilman Atkins. Next, we have presentation.
Wait, I'm in.
Oh, your lights on? Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm sorry, Councilman Schwartz, sorry. Go ahead.
Thank you. And just to talk about the park, I actually have it on the agenda because we received several emails from residents in reference to the park, and the director is here who's going to give an update on the park. And if the community was had a meeting, because I know when it came before council, before you came up here, there was discussion about public meetings, and Mr. Pickett did schedule public scheduled meetings with the community, because I know he did Center Park with the community for as the park. So that item is already on the agenda for presentation. So I know that there'll be more questions. So Mr. Tom, you can get your answers when Mr. Pickett come up and speak. Thank you.
All right, I don't see any other lights. So next we have presentations and announcements. The first one is Southside Day by Young Jock and Sharif Phillips. I'm not sure if Mr. City Manager, do you have anyone coming to present?
Well, that was under the mayor, and she's
Yeah.
not here. I think it's up to the council if they would still want to see that presentation. It looks like the participants are here.
If they're here to present, does anybody object to that?
They're here to present.
Okay, you can come on.
It's just a verbal, there's no visuals. Thank you.
First and foremost, I'd like to say good evening, and Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, City Council, thank you for affording your community the opportunity to speak with you openly in this type of fashion. And I just wanted, before I proceed with my presentation, I would like to give you, as a city, your flowers, because I have watched from close and afar. You bring your community together on so many events, and it's always a good time. Let me say that, and it's always beautiful to see community activations. So I am Jaceel Robinson, professionally known as Young Jock. This is my assistant, Cherie Phillips. I really feel like she's going to be good at the presentation part of it, and I'll fill in.
That's the job, isn't it?
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you very much, sir. As he stated, I'm Cherie Phillips. I work alongside of him, and we have been in charge of spearheading Southside Day. It is the second annual event. Last year, we held it at the Princeton Lake location right off of Camp Creek, and we did a Southside Day at the lake. So we were able to bring together 3 extremely large platforms under a nonprofit called Bless One Community, which was Young Jock, Ray Daniels, and Tori Tomlinson, all former classmates of Banneker High School and Southside residents. And the goal for this year was to magnify the platform that we had last year and to unify all cities of the South Side. So respectfully, to not have situations like what the other lady said, not having the negative aspects of a South Fulton or a College Park, but more so to highlight the positive things, because you all do work extremely hard at your jobs. And me sitting here as a resident, I don't know what really goes into and what you all have to do and deal with day in and day out. But what we do know is, as a community, we have expectations and we want to see greatness in our cities. I think that since there has been a transition from so many rezonings with the South Side no longer being all of Atlanta, now there's City of South Fulton, and so many changes with like College Park areas and things like that. There's been a lot of division amongst the cities in the South Side as a total. So our goal with Southside Day is to unify all of those cities: Forest Park, Hapeville, Union City, College Park, City of South Fulton, and of course the City of East Point, to show the strength in the South Side. And so it is a community day. It's a festival where we have the Divine 9 organizations, we have the Clark Atlanta University coming out as a support, and we have different vendors, local vendors that are local to the city, to show the pride of the city of the South Side and what it looks like when everybody comes together and pours those resources into the community. So last year we were able to give over 1,000 laptops away to the students as our back to school giveaway. This year our goal is to give away 1,000 tablets, because apparently tablets are more beneficial in school than the laptops are. So we're looking to give away 1,000 tablets. We're looking to do job resources to let the people of the community know you don't have to go so far away. You can work, live, and play in your area here on the South Side. We want to give people access to like the restaurants and the food trucks of this side of town, because people don't know what resources, especially the healthy resources that they have, but they don't know that there is plenty of art and gardens and things like that that are right here in their communities as well. So we're using Southside Day as a way to show the community resources that we have to provide on the South Side, but we're trying to do that together as one. And to just kind of piggyback off what he said, East Point has been so strong in showing that with your Wind Down Wednesdays and with your community events, that we just felt like we're better to take it than to the city of East Point and let you guys host it if you allow us to be here in your space. So that's Southside Day.
Now, can I continue? Oh, you look like you want me to stop. Okay. Now, we teamed up with people like the Ludacris Foundation, QC, and they were the ones who helped us bring this amazing event together. It was amazing to see the excitement of the children, the community come together. It made national headlines. We were actually shooting for Guinness Book of World Records, because they first said, let's give away 500. I said, no, let's go for the gusto. Let's give them 1,000. And someone in the room said, would that be a Guinness Book of World Records? I said, I don't know. But the next time we do this, I want to make sure we do it with a city who understands the impact that it can have for the future. I'm a nationally syndicated morning show host, Young Jock in the Streets Morning Takeover. I broadcast every morning from 6 to 10 in about 25 cities, 8 of them being major cities. And I just want to be able to show what unification looks like. As Ms. Cherie Phillips said, there are other cities that will come out and support that. I met with the mayor. I met with about 11 mayors. And usually I am an entertainer. Usually it's the mayors or the politicians, the local government, who brings us together. Well, this is an effort where an entertainer and I guess you could say a community activist is doing that in return. In kind, we would like to ask for some things. It's not, look, your head came up really fast. It's nothing bad. It's nothing bad. I'm gonna let Ms. Cherie ask for those things.
Thank you. Our request from the city of East Point is we'd actually like to host the event here at your city hall in your front. It's such a beautiful display. It has a beautiful stage area. I love how everything aligns. And we're hoping that we can get some support from your police as well. And we just want to be a part of the communications that go out to all of your residents. Like he said, he's a national syndicated morning show host, so we have radio, plenty of promotion. We have a huge, over 3.5 million as far as social media following, but we really want to touch the people and the residents in these spaces. So when he's met with each of these mayors, we are asking all of them if we can be in their communications that they send out, whether it's the text messages or the emails or whatever it looks like, to get that into the hands of the residents, because we're not calling all of Atlanta, we're speaking specifically to the South Side residents. We want to let them know that we're doing voter registration and to let them know who their council and representatives are, and to get them to understand that their mayor is indeed Mayor Ingram, not Mayor Dickens. We want to let them see who the people are and the change makers are of their cities. So we're inviting those different councils and mayors into their space as well. We want to, like I said, do a voter registration. We have it on our task list to do scholarships. We're giving out 3 different scholarships, and Clark Atlanta University has agreed to do waived application fees for those scholarship recipients. In addition to that, they're also choosing that if the student does choose to pursue education at Clark Atlanta, they are also looking to give their own scholarships. So that would go right into the community of you all's children. And we are also looking to do some form of past due bill relief, since we are now freshly off COVID and off of moratorium and things like that. We are trying to give back and pour into these communities as best as we can. So we're looking to do bill relief, scholarships, tablets, and we just need the community to be here so we can have somebody to give it to. And we want to do it here.
Thank you so much. I see a couple of lights on, so they may have some questions for you, so we can start with them. Councilmember Atkins.
Oh, sorry.
I'll turn my.
Councilmember Shropshire.
Thank you. So what's the date?
August 31st.
August 31st. And
It's a Sunday.
You see?
It's a Sunday.
Okay. And my second question is, so you're going to give out tablets, will there be any school supplies as well?
Well, we can do, well, so naturally, whenever we've done these type of activations, people come out the woodworks because they want to be a part. You know, the philanthropists come out in them and they're like, hey, I got book bags. And that's kind of why we didn't go with just the same old approach. I mean, I was a kid once. I don't know how many of you guys were kids and went to school. And I don't know if y'all needed a new book bag every year. I didn't need a new book bag every year. And I noticed that a lot of people tend to lead with a book bag drive. But school supplies are indeed needed, and so we do make sure that those type of supplies are in the activation. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay. So the ask is to do it here. Okay. I'll make a motion that, what is it? Southside Day. If they make the motion to work with the city manager, to do the event here in East Point.
Is there a second?
Second.
So move. Any discussion?
Discussion.
Go ahead, Councilmember Cummings.
Yes, thank you for your presentation. Just on average, how many people do you think will be in attendance at this event?
Okay, well, last year that was 1,000 people.
You had 1,000 people.
Okay.
And let's see, 1,000 people. And the time, what will be the time for the event?
We're looking at 12 to 8.
12 to 8.
And 8 not being the time that people get out of here. That's just like
Just
final wrap
the
out.
window that you have
Yes,
for the
ma'am.
event. Okay. And your ask is for, I know you asked for police
Can you give it a rundown? So you can...
host out in the front of it. So I know that ask was for police. Are you going to need fire, EMS protection, EMS as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Do you want to make a friendly amendment, or?
Yeah, when they work with them, I just, Right, I know when they work together, they'll kind of come up with all of those things.
Logistics.
To help with them advertising exactly for the event. Okay. So those are my questions. I know Councilmember Shropshire did ask on the dates of the 31st from 12 to 8, and that's going to pretty much be your window with about roughly 1,000 people in attendance.
That is correct. Now, that was last year.
Okay. But it gets bigger and better as the
Now,
year goes
this
on.
year, you, and I think, let me say this. I think people thought that, a lot of people initially thought the Southside Day was a party, because it kind of started out that way. And once we all came together, myself and my classmates, we said, you know what? No, this has to be completely impactful, community-driven. It's got to be for the kids. It's got to be for the community. And, you know, we had some issues in South Fulton, and that's how we ended up doing it at the Princeton Lakes, which wasn't the most ideal venue for this event, but it worked. And I just say, I think we need to be more, it needs to be more community involvement this go around. And in the process of saying that, we started, you know, saying, well, where can we find venues? And we started looking around. And every time I asked, you know, certain people, East Point was like, I was like, you're right, because you guys, you've done a great job over the years hosting your events. I hear people talk about East Point all the time. I've come through and supported. I've come through and just totally enjoyed myself. And like, yo, East Point got it going on. And so I was like, I think this would be a great collaborative effort, and maybe a start to a very great future, you know?
Sounds good. Okay. Thank you. I yield.
Really quick, Madam City Clerk, could you read that motion back? I didn't hear all of it.
Councilmember Shropshire's motion was the motion to work with the city manager to do Southside Day in the city of East Point, and Mark Rogers seconded it.
Okay, is there any more discussion on that motion?
It is, and to include the CBB as well.
Okay, Council.
I want to say you're being modest. As an attendee of Southside Day last year, you all did an excellent job, and the year before that, and the year before that. Tori Tomlinson,
Yes.
like, I mean, what can I say? He is someone that is community activated.
Yes.
Last year, you, him, and another one of your classmates was on stage from Banneker, and I witnessed the giving away of those laptops. I think what I enjoyed most about it was just the down-home, just feeling of being in the space, and I'm glad that it's on another day this year, because last year it conflicted with House in the Park, so is it the same day?
You know
Because
what, honestly,
House in the Park, so I was at your event, then met up with some friends, but I'm so glad that you brought this to East Point. It's really good to see that you all are doing your thing for our communities, because who's going to take care of us except for us? My ask is that a small portion of the laptop giveaway, we have 8 schools in East Point, so I would like maybe 20% of those tablets to be distributed to those schools in East Point. That's like, I was gonna ask for more, but I said 20%. I mean, we identify the school principals, and through your work and the city of East Point, those 8 schools are blessed. I believe we have 1 high school. Tri-Cities gets some tablets, and the kids do like tablets because they're lightweight and easy to carry. But I would just like to ask that those principals be contacted to come to Southside Day and
Yes.
pick up their tablets for their school building.
We can do that.
we can definitely do that. That was kind of, I don't want to say it like this, but I have to. That's kind of the idea, because we're coming into we're in your community, you know. We have to make it make sense. Like, we wanted to make sure that your students come first. There will be other people coming from other, you know, cities and whatnot, but being able to work hand in hand with you, I don't see that being a problem at all. I see that being more effective, and it's a lot more.
Yeah, Mr.
It's
City
cleaner.
Manager. please make sure that they have the opportunity to reach out to those principals where they can come to Southside Day and pick up those items for their school. Tri-Cities High School, you need some volunteers. Tap into the Tri-Cities High School Alumni Association. Guilty plug. They will help. That association will come out and also volunteer. So thank you so much for bringing this to East Point.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? The motion passes. Congrats. And
Respectfully, thank you very much.
no problem. Next, we have update on Sylvan Road and North Central Avenue and the Innovation tab presentation. Mr. City Manager, do we have anyone? Oh, here we go. Thank you.
Hello, good evening. My name is Mikey Cosentino. Michael is what my mom calls me. Nice to meet you. Thank you for having me. I've never done this before, so please correct me if I'm off the rails. Oh, you do this for me? Oh. Got it.
Just press it.
Perfect.
Just press it down.
Okay, thank you. I'd had the pleasure of meeting some of you over the past year. I grew up in New Jersey, but can you hear me? Okay. I grew up in New Jersey, but I've lived here since 2009, kind of bouncing around, starting my adult life and building small businesses and in the creative industry. In fact, I think I worked with Mr. Jock before, a long time ago. It'd been a dream of mine to build a place where creatives and innovators, technologists could go, a place that bustled with innovation. And that idea had crystallized over a long period of time, but obviously lots of difficult things ahead, the first of which was to find the right place to do that. East Point is clearly the correct place. I looked for a very long time and finally found this site, 3107. And met with a few of you as well with Mayor, and I loved right out the gate how much emphasis was placed on protecting these catalytic sites and really holding out for something that could truly be impactful and uplift and encourage the city business growth in different sectors that maybe are overlooked historically. This site came with some challenges, and so I thought along the way I could also update you guys on some of our progress and wanted to show you how we've done in demolishing the site over this past, I guess, 7 months now since we've been working on it. As most of you know, this was an old glass factory. I think there was a lot of speculation as to how much pollution or how much environmental damage may have been done. And as a result, many people have tested over and over and over, including myself, before we purchased the site. And I can say that we were blessed to find out it was actually very clean. Moving forward, we have demolished nearly 85 to 90% of all structures. All the warehouse behind you, I don't know if you guys, oh, you guys have TVs, got it. I was wondering what you were looking at. So we've taken down a majority of the structures. These photos are about a month and a half old. With the holidays and storms, I haven't been back over there. So as you can see, everything behind that first stack is actually gone now. Most of that cement stack is now gone. And then a lot of the furnaces are coming down now. So we're almost done. That eyesore is almost gone. And we can, I think, we can secure that area a little better as it's had a lot of foot traffic from visitors. Let's see, here are a couple other shots. You can see it's interesting, you know, as close as you get to this place, I forget how close it actually is to the airport, just right there. And also, sorry, let me go back, just how close downtown really is. When you know, from this site. This photo is, you've seen this maybe, this is what we presented in our first meeting. This just shows a very general, high-level concept, really allocating different spaces for different things. And while we've spent some time continuing to develop this concept, it's still very much in its early stages. Some of the things that we're working on currently is working with utility providers and infrastructure to understand timelines and really what it will take to bring the proper resources to this site, and moreover, this corridor to truly spark what I'd like to see as an innovation district. We're taking a pretty different approach. As I mentioned, I started some businesses as I was younger, working in creative content development, robotics, simulation, video games, and things like that. So I've worked a lot with very technical and very creative teams. And so again, as I reiterate, I see a place that encompasses all of that in harmony, creating a circular economy. Along with sharing a little bit of our demolition progress, which I know is really exciting stuff, I wanted to, have not looked at my notes at all, probably should have done that. I wanted to really leave you guys with this. As we grow and evolve the community and double down on our economic growth here, I know we all constantly, this is what you guys do and what you've coached me on doing and coming into your community. You know, we think about what this place looks like in the future, what our grandkids or what my grandkids might do in this city, how they might make a living, how they might buy a home, what job they might have. I think a lot is changing, as we're all pretty well aware. AI, all this tech is moving at a very fast pace. It's hard to really get our arms around it. But the one thing we can say for sure is the landscape looks a lot different today than it did before. Warehouses being built, you know, massive infrastructure above ground being built, parking lots, you know, things like that that have taken the place of old factories that were once on these lands, and unfortunately just the constantly overlooked in investment moving forward, or as it has. I don't have a specific ask, but I wanted to address you guys, address the council, show some photos, and at least put on the table an idea of how we can spark a true innovation renaissance in East Point. I know this is just a high-level photo. If you could see what's in my head, and maybe privately I could show you guys some of, you know, what I hope to accomplish. I still have a long way to go. But I believe this is the catalyst to what could be a very exciting future in this corridor, connecting Atlanta and our airport economies. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation. Dr. Martin Rogers, are you in?
Yes, I am, and I want to say thank you so much for just bringing this to East Point. Like, I mean, when I first went to the very first meeting and it was unveiled, I believe that this is going to be an awesome opportunity for real economic development in our city. I would like to know, how many acres is this again? That escapes me.
Yes, ma'am, it's 55 acres.
It's 55 acres. If you would just consider, maybe as you're giving us our presentations, maybe once every quarter, get out there in the community and maybe do a Zoom so that the residents of East Point can provide additional input.
Absolutely.
I'm excited about the project. I could tell you the things that I'd like to see there, but that may not be what everyone else wants. But, you know, we've had conversations in person and offline. I am very excited that this 55 acres is going to be turned into something that's beneficial for all residents of East Point. So, I mean, I could tell you that I would like to see a grocery store and a coffee house, but that may not be what everyone else wants. But just keep our community engaged and keep council updated with your progress.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Ziegler.
Hello, good evening.
Hi.
Just wanted to say thank you so much for your presentation and coming tonight. And it's really good to see some progress on that piece of land. And thank you so much for investing in East Point. Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't see any other lights on. The next presentation will be...
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. The next item is BSNA Citywide Cloud ERP System Migration and that's a presentation from Finance and Customer Care.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Temp and Council, Shannon Golden, Finance. In our Budget and Finance Committee meeting in June, I mentioned that we are doing a BSNA system upgrade from our old application to the cloud. In that conversation, committee members and the mayor asked that a presentation be given to the whole body so that they are aware of this implementation, as well as the dates and also the services that will be affected. So in this presentation, we'll do an overview of that. And to my left, I have Ms. Michelle Adams and Mr. Jeffrey Jackson of Customer Care. I also have Sean Dow, Thomas Mangrum from Electric, as well as Oliver Brown from IT. There we go. So we'll talk about the current technology, which we have BSNA application. Now I'll have Oliver kind of explain what that is. And we'll talk about the cloud benefits, security, and then we'll go into the timeline and all of how it's going to affect services. And then we'll open it up for questions.
Thank you, Shannon. Good evening, council members. This slide before you is explaining that our current BSNA platform is called the .NET platform. It's basically hardware based. It is, as you can see, a 17-year-old product, which in technical years is a lot. So it is a server-based product, meaning we have to maintain all the hardware on premise. So going forward, moving to the cloud, there's no more need for the on-site hardware. BSNA will host all the hardware that is required, maintenance, downtime is reduced to minimum, and basically it is the way of the future. If you could show that next slide. So there are a number of benefits. So one is the automatic updates and maintenance. And anyone who works here at the city with BSNA knows that there are updates that occur twice a month, every month, like clockwork. And if you're on site in the city of East Point, these updates are fairly simple. But if you're off site, they can be tedious. So going forward, the automatic updates will be just that. They will be automatic. BSNA will handle them for us, and there's no need to stop what you're doing every 2 weeks to wait for these updates to install on your computers. We also we'll have access to high availability and reliability, and which is something that we don't have now because BSNA products or at least the .NET version of the BSNA products tend to be problematic. Again, that technology is 17 years old, so it fails. We have to reach out to BSNA on a weekly basis, and the good part there is that BSNA's IT support is second to none. So their response time is great. But going forward, moving to the cloud, we won't even have these issues anymore because all the downtime that we experience will be handled on the BSNA side of things, the cloud side. So that will be a non-issue. The enhanced security is something that we definitely need, because today, with hackers getting more and more clever with regard to bypassing security, all the security required for the cloud version will be handled by BSNA. And again, since we won't have the hardware on site, it's not something we even have to be concerned about. And that also leads into dedicated teams. They protect against the attacks and with a program called Threat Intelligence Monitoring, which has proved to be very effective. The seamless integration they speak of is with regard to data sharing across the departments. We have 18 BSNA modules that all of East Point departments use. There are no departments that use all the same modules. There are certain departments that use, I would think that all departments use certain modules like timesheets, but there are other modules that only a handful of departments, or maybe even one department like HR would use. Payroll. But so BSNA in the cloud will take all this data, condense it, and make it more accessible to their customers, being us. Also, if you'll notice, there's a space here called Unified Database, which will eliminate what is known as data silos. This is where certain information is only accessible to certain departments, which in many cases is a good thing, and in some cases it's a bad thing, because this data needs to be shared so that educated, informed decisions can be made by each department. And so each department will have a clearer access to any data that is required. So that is going to be a plus. The flexible scaling is going to be a good thing, because it will allow us, the flexible scaling will allow the various departments to use only the data that is required specifically for that department without a lot of unnecessary verbiage and interference. So that's going to be a great thing for us. The cost saving in many respects will be obvious, because there will be no hardware support, so we won't have to purchase new servers to make this upgrade. We won't have to maintain servers, which in itself is a beautiful thing. And that does reduce the cost, annual cost for IT and for the city. And of course, disaster recovery and data backup speaks for itself. If we were to have one of our BSNA servers crash, it could be disastrous. So BSNA will handle all this activity for us in the cloud, and in essence, it makes all of our lives, it will make all of our lives easier. Not just for the IT department, but for all the departments that use BSNA on a regular basis will find it a lot more user-friendly and a lot more productive. So I would think we could move forward. Of course, we touched here on ransomware attacks, and again, this is the type of thing that BSNA would monitor for us. They not only have the technology to handle this, but they have the resources. So that would be quite a burden off of the city of East Point and off the IT department to have them manage any ransomware attacks. The redundancy that they can offer us is not something we could afford to do ourselves, or we would not want to pay for it. I can tell you that. And finally, this is just a time frame which started, right about August of last year. BSNA reached out to us. We started the conversation. The actual project planning started, I want to say September, November, and then in February, we hosted the preliminary data extraction with BSNA so that hundreds of gigabytes of data was extracted over a number of days, which was basically the heavy lifting, so that next week, when the final conversion happens on July 16th, there will be a minimal amount of data left to extract because the heavy lifting has already been done. So we're going to move all the remaining data from the 16th to the 21st, or the 20th actually, I suppose. And when we return and go live on the 21st, there will be training offered by BSNA. They will be on site, if I'm not mistaken, for a couple of weeks. If we need them beyond a couple of weeks, it won't be an issue. Basically, they'll be available to answer questions and train and teach and troubleshoot for as long as we need them. And in essence, I think that's all I have.
Thank you for your presentation. Really quick. So I see you recommending this action. What is the specific ask from the council?
This is just a presentation as a result of the Budget and Finance Committee.
Okay.
I spoke about it during that meeting. So it's just a presentation so Mayor and Council is aware. I think the main idea here is also the customer care piece that deals with utility billing. There was questions surrounding that, which we will address tonight.
Okay, so
There's no action that needs to take place.
Okay.
It's just for informational purposes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so with this part, the cloud version will take 3 business days. We'll start on the 16th, like Oliver mentioned. For most of the modules, they'll be live on the 21st. However, with customer care, they'll be live on the 22nd. Jeff, next slide. All right. So through the July 16th through the 21st, for the finance department, that includes property tax, accounting, accounts payable, budget, and payroll. So this week, we have to expedite all requisitions, POs, for a check run for Monday, for Friday, as well as the 15th, because nothing can be entered into the system from the 16th to the 21st. So Payroll will be done by the 15th. AP will be completed by the 15th. After that date, no other transactions can be transacted because it's a blackout period. The same thing with your planning and zoning department. Permits, they won't be allowed to service permits. They won't have the capabilities to review any plans, zoning verification letters, zoning applications, all of those items that's listed for planning and zoning, and with contracts and procurement. No inventory is going to be moved. And with the city clerk's office, anything that's researched in BSNA for open record purposes, we will not be able to do those items as well. Okay, so when it comes to customer care, like I said, the extraction will start again on the 16th. Customer care will be closing at 11 to do the extraction and close down to be ready for extractions. They will not be up until the 22nd. Okay, some of the services that will be affected from July 16th to the 21st, I'll have Ms. Michelle kind of go through this portion of it.
Good afternoon, Mayor Pro Tem and Council, City Manager, and City Attorney. So with the implementation of BSNA, which means that the system will be totally down, therefore we won't be able to accept payments via mail, in person, online, or over the phone, or at our kiosks. New services, when customers come in to set up a new account, unfortunately we won't be able to set up those accounts or transfer services from one location at East Point to the other. When customers come in for terminations, we won't be able to do those as well. Delivery of e-notification, text messages, and mailing of the paper bills, those notifications won't go out to customers. Payment plans and payment holds, requests for apartment connection disconnections, drop lines for customers with new construction, work orders, power releases. Because BSNA systems are down, this is our main hub that we process all of the above that I mentioned. So with it being down, we won't have an opportunity to do any of those functions. So customer communications, once we were advised of the implementation, we started communicating via the city website, social media outlets, utility bills. We've placed information on the back of the utility bills. We've actually started sending out notifications via mass email through the BSNA system with customers that have emails on files. We've created flyers and word of mouth, trying to get the information out as quickly as possible, but to also make sure that everyone is aware that we will actually be down during that time period. Because the system is down, we have some allowances. So what we will not be doing or assess to the customers is disconnecting the services for non-pay. We will not send out any utility bill reminders, and we won't assess any late penalties or late fees on the customer's account during this time period. Up until July 16th, until the end of the month, none of this will actually be assessed to the customer's account. The electrical department will go over the meter readings and the billing delays.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So the meter reads and billing delays. So we've already did a test trial run with the meter readers and the AMI system, collecting the reads and keeping them. So we've already did that, made sure everything was good before we even got this far into this process. So there's only couple billing cycles that's going to be affected, which will be 6, 7, 8, and 9. The bills will be mailed to the customers between 1 to 3 days early before the system goes down. That won't affect any of the consumption or anything. Cycle 10 will be mailed out to the customer 1 day late, and 11 and 12 will be mailed on their normal billing date once BSNA goes live. The post-live cycle 13 and 14 and cycle 15 will be delayed to allow audits to be verified, just making sure, anything that we've missed, anything, those will be journalized by between 1 and 3 days. And all other remaining cycles, 16 to 18, will have no impact, as these cycles are read and billed after the implementation takes place.
Okay. So with that being said, good evening, Mayor and Council. With that being said, even though we're going through this transition, customers will still be able to view their bill, be able to review their consumption through the utility hall. And we still are encouraging customers to download that app so they can view their consumption on a daily basis if they choose to. Nothing, this delay would not cause you, you still will be able to get your meter readings and consumption through utility hall.
So as a final takeaway, customer care will be closed for normal operational services to prepare for the implementation and to train the staff. As I stated before, no penalties, no delinquent letters, or no disconnection of services will not happen until August of 2025. We prepared a list of contact information during the downtime. So we have the customer care website, any power-related issues. We have power outage at eastpointcity.org, water-related issues, water_sewer at eastpointcity.org, public work issues, solid waste planning, community development, and we've also included the city manager's offices as well.
All right. So this brings us to the end of our presentation. So if there are questions in regards to the implementation, we're now...
Yes, thank you for the comprehensive presentation. I see Councilwoman Rogers is in. Councilman Freeland?
I think Councilman Rogers was in first. But...
Okay. All right, thank you. Thank you so much for your presentation. I just have a couple of quick questions. The licensing costs, do you all have that? If not, you can just email it to me. The licensing costs and then the maintenance fee to maintain.
Those are figures that we can give you email.
Okay, all right. And then I guess what I'm most concerned with is the training requirements. That's a pretty aggressive timeline, and we want our departments to be, I guess, trained.
Yes, ma'am.
So the training requirements, do you think that there'll be a learning curve?
No, ma'am. During that conversion period, the 16th through the 21st, there will be classes for each module, and those individuals will, staff will get training during that time on the cloud from the 16th to the 21st.
That's a short window. I mean, it is for cloud training. I mean, I think that it's a short window. All right, and then my last two questions, privacy and security risk.
Okay.
How are we on that? Are we pretty confident in this BSNA group with the privacy and security risks?
Well, yes. I mean, we've been using BSNA now for roughly 5 years, right?
Okay.
And they've proven to be a reliable, totally dependable establishment, and that's why we wanted to continue our relationship with them. And with regard to the training curve, I don't think it will be as steep as some might anticipate, because it's the same program And it's just like going from one Windows program to the newest release. You know, there's going to be a little differences aesthetically, but it's going to be the same program fundamentally, just going to look a little different here and there. And that's what the training will cover.
All right, and then my only ask, Mr. City Manager, is that everyone in the city of East Point is informed, especially our residents, whether that's through social media, our bills. Residents need to be informed that we will be in a transition period. Inform, inform, inform.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Councilman Freely?
Yeah, thanks for the presentation, everyone. I mean, obviously, between the 16th and the 21st, it's a pretty significant, but necessary, completely understand, disruption. How confident are you that those 5 days are all that will be needed and that it all gets done in that period of time?
Well, when we had to go back to 2020, when we first got BSNA, we did that conversion. It was during COVID, and that conversion didn't have any issues. So we don't see any issues with this. This should be a smoother transition because we're using the same ERP system versus our legacy system, HTE, which we had for centuries. And so those never got updates. So we are pretty confident that it shouldn't be any issues.
Do you think there's a chance it could take less time?
Say that again?
Do you think there's a chance it could take less time? It might be completed before the 5 days.
I guess this is our estimation on the data that they have to convert. This is based on the data.
Thank you.
Councilman Atkins?
Yes. This is a question, perhaps, Mr. Golden, of you or Mr. Brown. In the benefit slide that Mr. Brown presented, one of your points, if you will, was cost savings. And have we quantified that? I would imagine that we should know like what it actually would save us. I think that the slide mentioned something about reduce overall IT expenses. So what amount, by what amount will we be reducing those expenses?
Well, for one thing, now I don't have all the figures with me, but I do know that we'll save roughly $75,000 a year on maintenance and support and the annual service fees because we won't have the hardware to support. There will be a reduction in the license fees because, again, we don't have to house their software on our servers. They're housed on BSNA servers, which gives us a cost reduction. I don't have the exact figure, but I can get it for you after this meeting.
All right, that would be beneficial if perhaps Mr. Golden, you and Mr. Brown could work together to come back and let us know exactly how much the city will be saving. There are tremendous benefits, it seems, but a reduction in IT expenses, I would also say would be of interest to us as fiduciaries, but also to the citizens because they're taxpayers. And so it'd be great to know like what it is actually saving us, and the delivery of service should be better. So that would be great information for all of us to have, if you could have that for us.
Yes, sir. We can have that for you.
Okay.
Sir.
The other questions I have, I think Ms. Adams, there was a period of time where we will not be able to accept payments because the system will be down. Will there be any impact for any of the citizens who just have auto pays? Because if those dollars are going out and there's not an account for them to go into, what would happen with those?
So we've been in touch with Invoice Cloud, which is our third party that handle the payments. What I can do is ask that question and find out what will happen to those customer payments. But when I spoke to them a couple of weeks ago, they said pretty much that they would just suspend all payments to whereas there's no access. But that's a great question, and I can get that back to you.
Okay. Because I just want to make sure if people have their dollars going out, but there's no account, and then there's going to be confusion, a lot of it afterwards. The other question is, and this may have just not been a lack of functionality. But in terms of in-person payments or in-person service initiations, a lot of people complain about our system being very antiquated, that they have to physically show up to initiate service. Like, you don't have to do that for Georgia Natural Gas or any other utilities. You know, why do we force citizens to do that? So going to the cloud, do we get additional functionality that will allow people to initiate services remotely? They can just go to the web and do that. And even for reconnections, would they be able to do that, or would they still have to come into the branch?
Great question. So one of the meetings we had with BSNA, they did advise us that going online to actually set up your account will be implemented sometime in October, between September and October, I'm sorry. So once the implementation is completed, then customer care would work with BSNA to finalize how that actually would look, and to know that we can offer that service to our customers during that particular time frame. So we're really excited about that, because we feel the pain too of having the customers to come in, and if everything's not correct, we have to turn them away. So we're really excited about having access to complete new services or transfers online.
Okay. Will that also apply to reconnects? Because right now, people have to come in to reconnect, whereas with other major utilities, if there's a disconnect due to payment, they can go online and they can make that payment. This is a concern for me, because I've heard from a lot of citizens, particularly those of whom are hourly workers, and the fact that it's difficult for them to get off of their job to come here in person, have cash, and make payments when they can do those things from their phones or from another device and still be able to work.
In that regard, we do have the capabilities of the customers to actually complete the reestablishment form as well as pay online. Some customers are what we consider cash-only customers, so that's the customers that will actually have to come in. We will work harder to try to put out the information that you can go online, complete the reestablishment, and you can also go online and make that payment when your services are disconnected for non-pay. So we'll work harder at getting that information out so that it won't be no misunderstanding on how they can make their payment and get their services back on.
Okay, so those functionalities, initiations and reconnects, this platform going to the cloud will allow citizens to be able to do both of those things, not as soon as we go live, but within a few months thereafter. Is that correct?
The implementation would allow the online new service to take place. Paying for services connection because you were disconnected, that's available now.
Okay.
So customers, if their services were actually cut off for disconnection, they can actually go online, make that payment, go online and complete the reestablishment form. And all of that information is listed on the web page of Invoice Cloud when they make their payment.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Yes,
Those
sir.
are my questions.
Thank you. Thank you. Councilwoman Ziegler?
Thank you for your presentation. This all sounds very exciting. Question, so it sounds like that you have narrowed down which cycles are impacted. I think what would be helpful for us, and particularly me, is if I would know if those are my constituents, if those are people like exactly where in the city does this cycle fall. I think that would be really helpful. Right. Yeah. So like I don't know who has cycle 6 or who has cycle 10. I don't know who that is. So it would be helpful for me to prepare if I'm going to get a barrage of people who may have issues or questions or something like that, for me to know ahead of time. So that would be great.
Okay, and we do have that information. We apologize that we did not include it on the PowerPoint, but we do know we can provide the information to you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
Councilwoman Cummings?
Thank you, and thank you for your presentation. Just a couple questions. Councilmember Atkins actually had 2 of my questions. So the next one would be, we're asking about the cycles. Are the cycles specific to Is it a community or I just know my cycle, so.
So the cycles are based on the location of the property.
Okay, so they are specific to that particular area, whatever that area is. Okay.
Yes.
And the next question, I know the system will be down from the 16th to the 21st. And I think this will be a question also for Mr. Mangum or Mr. Dow. So it will track still the usage, because I know the system is down, but it will still track the usage that they use for the power that they use, correct?
Yes, that is correct. The BSNA system is going down, not our Tantalus system. So Tantalus will still track the reads and it'll hold it up into the cloud until we request it to be built out. So yes.
So it'll.
Yes.
Go on, I'm sorry.
So they can retrieve their reads mainly through Utility Hub, but the reads actually come from our Tantalus AMI system. So the customers still will be able to see their consumption live through Utility Hub.
Okay, but it'll track that usage, it's gonna hold it, and then you will reassess, then it will be assessed to, is it gonna be the following month or just after everything that they've used from the 16th to the 21st, then it goes on the 22nd, or how does?
Actually, there would be no difference in read days. My team will continue to read on their normal days that they're supposed to read, but what will happen is when they, say for instance, cycle 6, when they read cycle 6, since they're not able to upload it, it will store it in the cloud.
Okay.
And then once BSA come back online, we'll request those reads and then we can bill out.
Okay, fine, thank you, that's what I just wanted, just to make sure I was clear on that.
Yes,
Thank you, I yield.
Councilwoman Shropshire?
Thank you, and I know this came up in the Budget Finance Committee meeting, and it was said, asked that you all put it in the utility bills to notify. Have you started that process?
Yes, ma'am. We started, I think it has been maybe a week and a half, because what we did was, besides putting it on the back of the bill, we actually did an email through BSNA system where it's a mass email that's going out. And like I said, we pretty much started that process maybe about a week and a half ago.
And you did include it in the utility bill?
We included it on the back of the bill. What we initially wanted to do was to include it as an insert.
Okay.
But when I spoke to Invoice Cloud, which is our third-party vendor that prints and mail out bills, she typically said that there was, we didn't have enough space to add an additional insert. So with that being said, we had to revamp everything, and we went on ahead and just started creating the flyers, started creating the information on the back of the bill. And what we're also going to do as one added measure is make sure that we get the information to our apartment complexes, because that's where we would get the influx of customers that's coming in to do new services. So we're planning to actually go out to those locations and put it in their hands to know that we are going to be down. So, pretty much can you hold off until the implementation is completed so that the tenants can actually get new services.
Okay, that's a good idea, to actually go out.
Yes,
That's a good
ma'am.
idea. And just to make sure that it's on the back of the utility bills, because I know that a lot of seniors, a lot of people are not on social media, so they wouldn't know what's going on. But to put it on the back of the bill, they would see that. So that's good. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am, you're welcome.
All right. I don't see any other lights on. Thank you for the presentation.
Thank you.
All right, next on the list is update on playground equipment. Councilwoman Shropshire.
Thank you. I had this put on the agenda because we received quite a few emails in reference to the playground equipment, particularly over, and I'm going to say maybe Brookdale Park, I believe. Egan Park, and I know when we had the conversation, when we were discussing the playground equipment, Mr. Pickett had it laid out that there would be meetings with the neighborhood to discuss the update to the parks. So I had this put on the agenda so he can give us an update to the playground equipment and what happens when you take it up, can it be utilized, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'll get into that. All right. Good evening, Mayor and Council. I apologize. I came from a field trip when I was notified about the playground update, but I thought it was very important, so I put together a detailed update regarding the playgrounds, but I do kind of want to frame our discussion on how we got here. In FY '24, just like you all received phone calls, we were bombarded with calls about our play spaces not being inclusive. So our finance department did a great job of getting me funding in FY '25 to be able to address these issues. Back in November of '25, well, let me see where it's, yeah, back in November of past fiscal year, I came before you all with an aggressive plan to not only make our play spaces accessible and safe, but make improvements. I know that a lot of emotions are attached to a lot of these play spaces. I've been a resident personally of East Point for 49 years, so I know there are spaces and things that I see that's been around since I was a kid. So I'm very sensitive to people's concerns about pieces, but I'm going to get in more detail to some of the technical things as I move through this presentation. Is it here? Okay. All right, so what I did was comprise a lot of pictures of installations. Some council people along the way, I've been sending pictures. Kind of as we're moving through it, I've been notifying residents through social media on different spaces that we're working in. Bryant Park was one of our initial renovations. We updated a volleyball court that's heavily used over in that community. We recently added a swing set. We had residents calling about their kids not being able to participate and play in our play spaces. So this is one part. The second part of the renovation was to fix the actual structure of the park. As you can see, we put swings that could accommodate small kids, kids with disabilities or physical challenges, as well as the people that normally just go out there and play in the play spaces. Sumner Park is in the initial phase. We got FY '26 improvements that we're making to that play space as well. But what we did add in FY '25 was sensory boards, as well as a swing, similar to what was at Bryan, but we used the color code for the playground that's currently there. That particular playground was built with Home Depot probably about 20 to 25 years ago. So this year in our budget approval, we'll be addressing the larger piece in that playground. I'm a mainstay at Sumner Park community meetings, and I'll speak to that as well. I personally go out and talk to a lot of the neighborhoods with all of the improvements we've been making over the last several years. So that community is very excited. Got a lot of good things going on at Sumner Park. We brought back Grayson baseball field. We're looking at doing some new improvements to the dog park. We recently renovated the tennis courts over there. And also the Rose Garden is a popular space that we're going to be giving a refresh look as well. River Park, as you notice, we put swings out there. They already have auto-sensory boards in that play space, so we didn't have to do a lot of aggressive changes over there. Brookdale Park, a lot of our parks, like they weren't even accessible to get to the park. So I put a picture up of the ramp that we put in. We got a lot of major things happening over at Brookdale. Bathroom was a big issue. That's going to be going in about 2 weeks. We're going to be restriping the actual parking lot to be more accessible. We're putting accessible bathrooms, but as it pertains to this presentation, the play space is getting some of the love as well. We put a swing set, and we also built the ramp to be able to access the playground. John D. Milner, our most heavily used playground. I mean, kids out there all day. I know Ms. Shropshire can attest to that, but that community has been very patient with us. But we do entertain and service a lot of kids throughout the year. Can't really see really good on this picture, but that is a tic-tac-toe board, which is an auto-sensory piece of equipment. In the backdrop, you can see the swing set that was installed in there. Sykes Park, got a lot of exciting things going on over there as well. We had an auto-sensory board that you can see, made some adjustments to the playground swings, and also updated the ramp to be able to access the actual play space. Center Park, it's been a little bit delayed. I guess you can notice we've had a ton of rain. I was hoping to be done with this park probably honestly about 3 weeks ago, but the rain has definitely slowed it down. But the project looks beautiful. It's going to be a lot of multiple uses in that space. If those of you who are familiar with that playground, wow, that playground had to be about 35 years old, but we did updates to those play spaces. We made the park fully accessible. We're going to be putting a pavilion out there, a grill. We have about 5 pieces of equipment out there that kind of entertains kids of all abilities. Those play spaces for all of the parks, our focus is age 2 to 12. That was the approach with the playground consultant with Game Time that we've been using. Colonial Hills Unity Park, that is a new swing set that was put in, and I'll talk about FY26, what we're looking to do with the other play structure in that playground as well. All right, Egan Park. Kind of want to make sure I give some really good information about this park and inform the community that it will be something that everybody will be proud of. That is my hope. But I do want to kind of explain what the thought process was with this particular park. This particular park, we started that renovation probably in 21, I want to believe. We had accessible issues of actually entering the park. At that time, spending was very tight with the city. So we spent a lot of time during COVID, my department, writing to qualify for grants. We had a grant with Fulton County CDBG to actually fund the initial renovation. The last piece was the playground that we've had a lot of discussion about over the last week or so. Our estimation for that playground is probably north of 30 years old. But I want to talk about some of the highlights that have not been really mentioned on what this park represents for East Point. It is going to be a national recognition site. So Egan Park is going to be featured in Playcorps nationwide, map of best practice sites, and highlighted in their outreach presentation and publications. Our city manager spoke to that as being a highlight for our city and something for us to be proud of, but I want to kind of dig deep into what exactly that means to East Point residents. They're going to be putting a plaque out there to identify that being a national site. We use access to research tools. So this particular part, Playcorps is going to provide me updates to track and measure the space usage and the positive impact. So it is a very highly functioning playground setup that we're going to have placed out at that park. And I'm also going to be able to use that park to leverage for grant writing. Typically, when you have a national play site in your city, when we're putting together grants to find funding to make future improvements, this is something that I'll be able to reference to in future grants to be able to get us more spaces and more improvements to all of our parks. The conversation came up regarding about donating the play space. Anything typically north of 10 years old, it is not deemed, it's a liability towards the city to give that out. If it was under that threshold, I would have any problems donating that space, but with that particular space, that was kind of off the grid for us to be able to offer giving it to a nonprofit. Liability concerns is one of the biggest things. One of the things that I do every year is go to what we call our National Parks Association meeting. In those meetings, I make contacts with various people that can enhance what we have here in the city. One of the spaces that I was gunning for at FY25 was to address accessibility concerns. So I reached out to Game Time, visited all the parks, and even future park bills about what the overall goal was for the city. If you'll notice in my budget requests, I do goals and objectives like other departments do, and one of the things that was high on my list was accessible play spaces. That is something that my department has really put boots to ground on, actually doing in our programming and including our play spaces. Limited accessibility. As I mentioned with Egan Park, accessing the park a few years ago was practically impossible if someone was in a wheelchair. Along with some of the concerns that we had from residents was the particular play space at Egan Park. If the kid had any type of physical challenges, it was nothing for them to do. So if you notice, the very bottom part of this slide, and I'll just read it out loud, there are going to be multiple playground equipment spaces that's accessible for all kids of all abilities. The existing playground had a swing and one of your, pretty much your master play sets that included a slide. But we're going to be able to hit all the points which made this a national demonstration site. Unfortunately, the construction was delayed with the heavy rain that we had, but they were back out on site today. So we're hoping with a good run of good weather, we can go in and get that project kind of buttoned up. But that is pretty much what it is as far as Egan Park. And I did want to take time to kind of reference what was next. I know we have a lot of talk about Ward D not having play spaces. We're hoping to get those engagements started as well. But I'll try to run down some of the things that we're looking to do in the coming months and bring it before you. Ransom Park came before you all probably about 3 weeks ago. We're hoping to have our kickoff meeting as soon as I get my PO approved, hopefully the next week. That would be a full renovation as well. Same thing with Ransom Park. Those that you're familiar with it, you got limited accessibility to get into that park. So we'll be doing an overhaul similar to Center Park, but we have some exciting things for that. Electric charging stations. As you know, a lot of people are going electric, as well as our city with a lot of our vehicles. So in our banner parks, we're looking to put electric charging stations in some of our most heavily used parks. Commerce Park, we also have already onboarded the engineering firm, and I'll be getting with Ms. Rogers and other Ward D representatives to talk about what we can put in that space. We have some ideas, but we will be going before their community as well. Right now, it's just a blank piece of land, but has a lot of opportunity to be as inclusive as the other wards that we have in the city. Bryant Park, what I did not show you was that it's another old playground piece that's probably north of 25 to 30 years old as well. So we got the money in our budget to address that. And Colonial Hills Unity Park Playground, we will be addressing that playground as well. The slides and replacing playground equipment on equipment north of 20 years old makes it very difficult. And we put our city in a liability, under the radar if a kid is hurt on a play space that's deemed not accessible, safe, and up to current code. But that is my update for playgrounds, but I'm happy to answer any questions you all may have.
Yes, thank you for your comprehensive plan. Sounds good to me. I do see we have one light on, Councilwoman Rogers.
All right, so, and thank you so much for your presentation. Just to be clear, you could not donate that land because it was 10 years old.
Well, no, it was actually plus 30 years old.
Plus
10 years old, 10-year-old is like the minimum possibility of donating equipment.
Okay, all right, thank you. My next question is, what's the acreage on the Commerce Park?
Ooh.
How many acres is that?
I will have to get back to you on that one. I can let you know first thing in the morning.
All right, thank you. And then my next question is for Mr. City Manager. I've seen lots of cities do this where they hire grant writers specifically for their Parks and Recreation Department. And that person goes out, they seek the most money available because there is money or there are monies out there to enhance trails, to enhance our parks, but you have to go after them. Has there been any discussion on a grant writer specifically for recreation for the city in East Point? Or has that been thought about? I'm just putting that out there for you all to maybe discuss later in the future, but as I was doing a great deal of research on recreation, most cities do have a grant writer specifically for recreation and how to go after those monies that are available.
Well, we have a grant writer that works for the city as a whole. There is not a grants writer specifically for parks as far as I've been a part of any conversation of. That's certainly something that can be thought about, but it's not in this year's budget, and certainly something that can be considered in next year's budget.
Thank you.
Councilman Atkins.
Yes, thank you, and thank you so much for the presentation, Director Pinkett, and for the information that you provided last week. I was able to share that at the meeting. One of the things that came up in the meeting, there was a few things, but one was a power source at Egan Park. In the midst of the renovations that are happening now, do you think that we would be able to do that? I know that for some of the other parks that didn't have a power source, we were able to accommodate that. Is that something that we would be able to do for that particular park?
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned it. I put the pressure on my guy Sean Dow probably about 3 days ago, believe it or not. But we are looking at that. Got some exciting stuff that's going on over at Sykes Park. We're looking at all of our pavilions throughout the city to have a power source to make it, accessible. People can have a little music out there as well. But I think I'll say it's an easy ad, but I'm actually putting the pressure on Sean.
All right, thank you. One of the other things that the residents in Egan Park talked about, and I actually drove there today because based on the communication you shared with me that the installation was to resume today, and I did see some folks sitting on the benches out there, so I know that people are still utilizing that park even though it is under construction. They also mentioned that quite a few people from the hotel community use the park, and so they just wanted to make sure that we were going to get back on track with getting the installation done and that it was indeed going to be at least what they had before or more. And I told them, let's wait until it's done and everything is in. And I did share with them specifically that the drawing that we had of that did say conceptual. So if they were only going by that drawing may not be fully representative of what the end product will be.
Yes. I think, well, I would hope everybody will love it, but I'll definitely be open for any discussions if there's something else that we can add out there to make sure they're happy.
Okay, great. Yep. So I'll follow up with you regarding the power source.
All right.
For that. Thank you.
Yep.
All right, any other questions? All right, thank you.
All right.
Next, we have committee reports. Are there any committee reports?
Yes.
Councilmember Rogers?
Yes, I'm going to give a brief description on what happened at the HR committee meeting. Although it was off to a bad start due to weather, and I had quite a few technical difficulties, but I will go back and review parts of the meeting that I missed. I was able to log in at 6:29. Roll was taken prior to the return. All members were present. The mayor, myself, Ms. Mellett, Iris Jesse, and Council Member Freely. There was a great deal of discussion on evaluation instruments, with council providing input. After we shared that information with our direct reports to ensure, well, what we are going to do is get input from the two instruments that we evaluated to make sure that the instrument is quantifiable and up to industry standards. Changes in input will be made from all members. There was also a brief discussion on the grievance policy. Council Member Cummings, you'll bring that back for the additional piece. But the grievance policy, not only to include our direct reports, but also to include staff as well. We also discussed a performance appraisal with adoption of a handbook. We did complete the city attorney and city clerk evaluations, and we will be working on the city manager and judge evaluations. All evaluations will be given to council members for feedback. And Councilmember Cummings shared that she will be having an upcoming Screen on the Green with the meeting concluding at 7:58 p.m. Thank you.
Anyone else? Councilmember Freely?
Yeah, I'd offer one correction to the HR committee report. We finalized the review of the clerk and the municipal judge. We did not get to the city manager and the city attorney.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, next we have agenda items. Can I get a motion to open the floor for discussion and possible action on the intergovernmental agreement along with the corresponding invoices for conducting the municipal general/special election and runoff election for the city of East Point?
Question. Before we move forward, I need to make a correction on an item that we voted for under presentation. So I'm going to ask the city attorney, can we do this now or do we wait?
This is an item that you guys already voted on today?
Yes.
And were you a member that voted in favor of it?
Yes.
So Rule 27 provides that only a council member that voted on the prevailing side, so the motion passed? Okay. Only a council member that voted on the prevailing side may reconsider. A vote may be reconsidered at any time during the same meeting. So if it's okay with Mayor Pro Tem to entertain that now, or you can get from him when is a good time since he's the chair of the meeting.
Okay.
So you gonna bring it up now, or?
Yeah, because it's just, and I didn't realize it, but the more and more I thought about it, and Young Jock said it too, that he worked with all of the mayors, and I know we voted to have the city manager, but it should have also included
Like
to
the
have
police?
the mayor
Oh.
work with them on this, because one is her item, and he's already spoken with all of the mayors, and they're joining in on the South Side Day. So it's just to include her in working with them. Her office.
Madam City Attorney, is that worth amending, or? I mean, I'm guessing she would be doing it anyway. We can just note that she's included in the conversation.
If the motion was specific, and that's the will of this body to include the mayor as someone to work with that organization, I don't see the harm. I mean, she wouldn't be precluded anyway, but
Right.
if your motion was specific, then it may make sense to reconsider it if the will of the body is to have the mayor's position included as a organizer of the event.
Will we have to reconsider this meeting, or could it wait?
So it says that a vote may be reconsidered at any time during the same meeting.
Okay.
And that's why I asked if Councilwoman Shropshire was on the prevailing side of that motion, because only someone on the prevailing side can bring up a reconsideration.
So it'll be the same motion, so the motion would be, read the original motion, and then add with, what did you say?
The mayor.
It would actually be a new motion, so
Okay.
Councilwoman Shropshire or someone else on the prevailing side
Okay.
would make a new motion to include the mayor in the organization of this event.
Okay, so, I
In
mean,
addition to
we can
the
do that now if y'all want, so if you want to make a new motion?
Yeah, I'll make the
Okay.
new motion. The motion is to have the mayor included on working with Southside Day on the event.
In addition to the city manager.
In addition to the city managers.
Is there a second? Second. The motion has been seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, the motion passes. Okay. No problem. So next is agenda item, so that's a lot. So can we get a motion to open the floor for item number 5?
So moved.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? All right, thank you. I believe Madam City Clerk will be doing the presentation.
Yes, so this is just the IGA for the upcoming election. For the cost of it for the general election will be $0. However, the cost for any runoffs would be $79,616.45, and that amount could potentially change in the event that it just depends on how many cities go into a runoff. This is typical for each mayoral election that we have because it's an at-large election that affects everyone. So, like I said, same IGA from Fulton County, just different year, different election.
Okay, so is there, let's see. So we can take action on this, right? We can make a motion to approve this.
Yes.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Gotcha. Any discussion or any questions? Councilwoman Shropshire?
Thank you. I make a motion that we approve the inaugural agreement for IGA along with the correspondence invoice for conducting a municipal general special election and runoff. Second.
The motion has been seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Sorry. The motion passes. Next, we have executive session. Madam City Attorney. Oh, Jesus. Okay, one second. So 4 legal. Mr. City Manager? Okay. A council, so we have 1 real estate.
2 real estate.
2 real estate. Anyone
I-
else?
1 legal.
Oh, we were doing good, y'all.
So how many is it?
So it's 5 legal. So anyone else?
5 legal.
So is there a motion to adjourn to executive session to discuss 5 legal, 1, was it 2 real estate?
2 real estate.
Is there a motion?
Motion to adjourn into executive session for 5 legal and 2 real estate.
Is there a second? The motion has been seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? All those opposed? Okay, we're adjourned. Can we get a motion to re-adjourn?
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Any discussion? Next, can we get a motion to approve executive session minutes?
No, first we have to vote on the motions.
That's the first.
Motion to, we did reconvene.
Yeah, so we approve executive session minutes, right?
No, we're not voting on the minutes. What did you say the motion is?
Madam City Attorney, so a motion to re-adjourn and then a motion to approve executive. Oh.
No, we
I said
gotta
adjourn.
vote on the items.
Oh, I said adjourn, my bad.
Yeah.
Oh, motion to reconvene, my bad.
Yeah, motion to reconvene, yeah.
My bad, I didn't catch that.
Vote.
It's been properly seconded. Any discussion? I'm sorry. All those that in favor say aye. I'm sorry.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, sorry about that. Motion to approve executive session minutes.
No, first, motion to, yeah, I got the motions.
Okay, go ahead.
First motion to proceed as discussed in executive session in executive
Oh, I got it
session
wrong.
to the TA group. TX group.
The motion has been properly seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion passed.
Second one, motion to proceed, settlement.
To re-adjourn.
Motion to proceed as discussed in executive session as to Lakes versus the City of East Point.
Is there a second? The motion has been properly seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay.
Before we adjourn, I do have a question. So this came up, and I do know that some will be in Amelia Island. So the question is, what do we do with work session? Will there be a quorum, and how many people will be going? Next Monday.
I do know that Councilmember Butler is gone since he's not here, so I'm speaking on his behalf, as well as Councilmembers Atkins and Freely as well.
So who are going? You. So it's just 3? Okay, so we'll have a quorum. Okay, just making sure.
All right, so is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Oh, wait. Motion to approve executive session meetings.
Okay, yeah, do we have a motion to approve executive session meeting minutes? The motion has been moved. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, motion passes. Now it's the motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Has been seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? All those opposed? All right, good night, East Pointers.